Hello, everyone. I know there are some of y'all are going to just really be in your all out, happy, joyful place to see this video of me. This is totally, I had considered, I was on the fence. I said, no, I don't want to go live because I'm going to be very raw and unfiltered in this video. And so I said, let me not be live. Let me do a recording so that I can system check myself before I send it. Because in case I say something that's a little glossy and a little flossy, so that I can I can edit it or whatever before I post it and go live, right? But I've been going through a lot, and I just said I'm going to use. It's interesting because I thought about whenever I wrote the Method to the Magic and how I had said that the book was comprised of lessons that I had learned, right? And I have, over the last 5 years, my life has been another exploration of lessons that I am going to share because I feel like they'll help you. I know they help me, right? And if nothing else, it helps me sharing them with you so that you can see them. I have not done a video in so long that it was like, okay, am I wearing the glasses? The glare, like, am I reflecting? I don't know. It's me. Y'all know my voice. You know it's me, right? But I've been going through a lot, but I'm okay, and and I've told you all that I've been saying to you that I'm okay. You know, I've said it in text and videos and every. I mean, not videos, voice messages. But now it's an opportunity for you to see that I am actually okay and still breathing, okay, and it's not an imposter, right? But I've learned something recently that I want to share, and that whoever needs to get it will get it, right? So, a lot of you know that I have my business. I started my business, G to G Innovative Solutions. Lord Jesus, solutions. G to G stands for Good to Great. In 2020, I started that, and it went, and the what prompted that was that prior to that, I had been employed with this organization for a really long time. A really long time, like 18 years or something like that, right? So and a health scare, at that organization, the organization shall still to this day remain nameless, but those who know me know the organization, but I'm still keeping their name out of it, right? Um, but I had a really bad health scare, um, and really bad, really, really, really bad, that resulted in I had a seizure. I'll just tell y'all what it was. I had a seizure at work, and I've never had a seizure in my life, and I had a seizure at work, and it resulted in my being in the hospital for 3 days, right? Came out of the hospital and had no idea, no, still do not know what the seizure was, had no idea. Um, I have since had another one. I had one back in March. That's a different story. So I'm not going to tell that story because that story is not this story, right? But that place, when I had that, I was literally working myself to death. To death. Okay? Like 80 hours a week. It was just crazy. I was working myself to death. I've shared stories how my daughter, I can remember my baby waking up in the middle of the night she was in high school, and waking up in the middle of the night, and I was sitting at my desk. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. She woke up to go to the bathroom, right? And she was like, "Mommy, what are you doing up?" And I'm like, "I gotta get this finished. I gotta get this finished and everything." She said, "But you have to go to sleep." I said, "I will." And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, right? Well, that's basically how it's going. So, um, it ended up with my having, I had a seizure at work, and after having been up all night and everything, and later at the end of that year, the decision was made for me to walk away, right? And to save my life, to basically to save my life, to peacefully just just walk away. And it was a hard decision to make because, especially to do so gracefully and with some respect, but I did it so that I could live, right? Um, and after that departure, I spent a couple of years just on a sabbatical, right? Just basically healing. healing and reclaiming my getting my steps, learning how to breathe again, learning how to live again, and not working myself to death. And and I call it a sabbatical because that's what it was. Like for a couple of years, and I did. I'd say like about a year or so into that, I just started doing some freelance work, and and it was actually motivated by my dad. My dad had said, why don't you just go to work for yourself? You're smart. Why don't you just work for yourself, right? So I started doing freelance work, and then 2020 rolls around, and I wrote the method to the magic, and I started, that was, wrote the method to the magic, and then in August of 2020, the decision was made to take my freelance work and turn it into an official business. Name my business, that's when it came up. Good to Great Innovative Solutions, gave a name, officially registered my business as a sole proprietorship, has a tax ID number and everything, right? And that was what started that. And I have really been very proud of the work that I have done in that business over the last 5 years. I have really sharpened my strike zone. I learned a lot about myself that I did not know. I did my own website. People look at my website, they're like, "Oh, I didn't know you do websites." I said, "I don't. I did mine." I give someone a business card and they say, "Oh my God, this is a really nice business card. I didn't know you knew how to do business cards." I said, "No, I did mine." And a friend, a good friend, once said to me that well, he would say to everyone, he would call me Michi, and he said, Michi is just, this is the unfiltered part. She just one of them get shit done kind of people. She just knows how to get shit done, right? And he trusted me to do a lot of that with his business. I created a power press kit for him. He's a musician. I created a power press kit for him, and just like one day he said, "You think you could do? You ever done? You think you could do a? They call it a PPK." He said, "You think you could do a power press kit?" I was like, "I don't know what that is, but I'll figure it out." And I figured it out, and it was the truth. Okay, people say, "Who did your PPK for you?" And it was really, really, really good, right? And so that's just kind of how I roll. I don't have to. I have a very unique set of skills, which is what I've talked about. I talk about it in my bio. I've talked about it in video. I have a very unique set of skills because I know how to do this. I'm not this or that. I'm this and that, right? I just know how to get stuff done. And I enjoy figuring stuff out. Just because I've never done it before doesn't mean I can't get it done, right? And that's one thing I know about myself, right? So, and that's what I've been doing. I've created some really great tools for clients. I learn more about me when I meet new people and they ask me, I said, I'll figure it out. And I figure it out and I get it done. I get my payment and I keep it moving, right? But then recently, I had decided that it's time because, it's cool having your own business, and I'm very proud of my business. I did my own logo and everything. I'm very proud of it. But the challenging piece about being a sole proprietor is that you are a solo operation. You do everything. You answer the phone, you send out the reports, you do the invoicing. Like if you don't do it, it won't get done. That's just the entrepreneurial sole proprietorship life, right? And I feel like I'm crooked. I don't care. Listen to what I'm saying. Don't look at how I look, right? And it's hard. I've enjoyed it, but it's hard. When you don't have like this guaranteed steady stream coming in, it's hard, because you still got to eat. You still got a place to live, So it's a hustle. It's a hustle. So I finally made the decision that said, maybe it's time for me to return to full-time employment, And so I started that journey, return to full-time employee. Look, but also being very intentional about who I will and will not work for or will not work with, right? I prefer the nonprofit sector because it's what I know, and I just I believe that nonprofit organizations personify the best of our world, right? Because they provide a way for people to work together for a common good. And I believe that, and I've seen it, right? Now, I have also seen some nonprofits that are for profits dressed in nonprofit clothing. But for the most part, I really prefer nonprofits. So that's where I started, and that's where I've been looking. So I had I'm gonna tell y'all, and I'm gonna be like I said, this is transparent. I'm not naming names, I'm not naming organizations, but I'm gonna tell you about a couple of experiences that I just recently experienced just this week, right? With two nonprofit organizations to whom I had applied. Um, and one thing about me is that because I know a lot about nonprofit operations, before I will send like I do my research. I pull your 990s. I look at your impact reports. I study you. Be like, okay, yeah, I want to work there, right? And so it's gotten to one of those things where I feel like if people were, if you get an application from me, you should be really thanking the universe for having your back because I'm going to get the work done, right? So I had entered, but one thing I'm learning about this, I've learned a lot because I haven't needed to apply for a job in a really long time. I just haven't had to do that. But now there's this system of you don't your resumes and your cover letters, they don't go to people, they go to computers, right? And the computers come up and they do some really funky weird stuff, right? And what I'm also learning is that a lot of these organizations, they one thing that I look for, it's like, what is the problem that you're trying to solve? Why are you hiring this person? So last week I interviewed for this one position, and it was an interview. It was an interview, and it was like over an hour. I was on the phone with their HR person, um, and and I felt really really good about it. She talked me through the steps, and she asked certain questions, and so I got an email from them earlier this week that said, you know, from this person, oh, we loved your thing, we loved it and everything, and but after speaking to the next person, we decided that we need someone with this skill, and because that will serve this position. I'm like, but that's not what's in the that. First of all, that's not the bottom line was that I just said that's stupid. Like, I mean, I didn't tell her that was stupid, but I thought to myself, I said that doesn't even make sense. Like, you put this position description out here, and it's obvious for you to come back and say something like that to me. It's obvious that you do not fully understand the problem that you're trying to solve, right? So that was a go. Now, this is the funny one. This is how I let you know that the systems are just weird as hell, right? So I had applied to another position, and I'm not even gonna read it. It's just because where is it? I don't even know where it is. Um, it was I'd applied to this position. Same thing. I did my research, but I did my research, everything. I thought this would be really cool. I would really like working there. I get an email yesterday, and the email says now pay attention. The email says, "Hi Demetra, it was so nice meeting you, and in interviewing you for this position with this company." Da, 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 da. And I'm like, now here go to hook up. I didn't meet these people. I never got a phone call from these people. I never got an email from these people. I have not had any communication with these people at all since I sent that application. So it was kind of crazy how I got this email back saying thank you for interviewing for this position. It was so nice meeting you and learning more about me. Like, but you didn't meet me. I said, so this is the frackanakka bull that's going on in the job search industry in these 2025 streets, I said, what in the hallelujah is going on here, right? And when I got the email yesterday, I thought it was kind of funny. As a matter of fact, like last night, I had a conversation with a close friend, and I was telling her about it. And she was like, this is ridiculous. And I said, I know, right? But then when I woke up this morning, found myself being a little pissed off about it because I said, what in the hell are y'all doing? And you got these people, you're out here, you're looking for these jobs, and it's obvious that you don't even know what you're looking for. But what you don't realize is that you, who have all these systems that you're working on, and y'all have jobs. But you don't think about the fact that how you are these systems. I've tell people all the time there's two types of problems, right? There are people problem and there are system problems. And sometimes it's a combination of both. And with this job market, job search thing, it's a combination of both. Because, no, it's not a system problem, it's a people problem. Because the system is doing what the people have told the system to do. But the people don't know how to line it up right, and it comes back with dumb crap like this, right? So if you are one of the people, because I'm putting this on, I mean, it's on my YouTube channel, obviously. I'm not putting on any of my personal spaces because this is not personal. This is professional. I'm going to post it on my LinkedIn page because they should know. Get it together. Figure out what you want. Figure out what you want, and then figure out the way, the shortest. I say in my book, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. This way that you all have these systems in place, the way that the people have put the system in place to identify candidates and everything, the crap is not working. It's not fair. And you're hurting people by doing that. And maybe you don't care, and if you don't care, then nobody who wants to work for you anyway. But think about what you're doing and what you're saying and how you're saying it and what you want. And if you don't know what you want, then pull it until you know that you do. That's it. That's my 2 cents in a nickel. Spin it higher into the job search industry. I'm going to keep going. And if you're someone who is watching this video and you want somebody who knows how to just get stuff done, I don't care about the title. My pastor years ago, I never forgot this, and he said, when you allow your title to become who you are, then who you are becomes inefficient and obnoxious. My pastor said that, and it's the truth, right? And it's just enough already. You guys are just, you're knocking the air. You are letting the air out of so many people's tires, and it's not right. And you talk about talent recruit and everything. It's like, well, who put y'all in charge? Because this is not cute. It's not cute. All right. So I feel better now that I've said that, and I'm gonna keep looking and I'm gonna keep searching and knowing that something's gonna come through, and that's that. All right. So anyway, so y'all can see me. See, I'm well. See, still have all of my teeth and everything. So everything is still me, still Demetra, and that's that. Okay. All right. So I will talk to you when I talk to you.